Greetings from Kathmandu. I'm Weise. I'm an architect who has been working on heritage management in Asia for the past 2 decades. Since the 2015 Gorkha earthquake in Nepal, I've been involved in disaster risk management and am presently a doctoral researcher at Durham University. This short presentation will examine the resilience of cultural heritage in Kathmandu, which I propose is based on the close link between the tangible and the intangible. I will introduce the factors affecting tangible heritage and how they are magnified by climate change. The historical monuments that we still have survived in the past through adaptation and renewal. This resilience is dependent on the community, the craftspeople, the intangible. During the second cycle of periodic reporting on the implementation of the World Heritage Convention in Asia and the Pacific from 2010 to 2012, the positive and negative impacts of various factors affecting the World Heritage sites were studied. This chart shows the outcome for cultural properties in South Asia, the blue being negative and the red being positive factors. We have the local conditions affecting physical fabric, invasive or hyperabundant species, and natural disasters, all negative factors that are increasing due to climate change. At the bottom of the chart are factors considered predominantly to be positive, the well-managed use of the property, which would need to be improved to counter the increased negative impact of climate change. And in the center are human activities that need to be controlled, such as the introduction of infrastructure, pollution, and other unfavorable human activities. The Himalayan region is affected not only by the extreme physical conditions of a mountainous region, it is tested by regular, strong earthquakes. The Kathmandu Valley is affected every 80 to 100 years. The last 2 big earthquakes were in 1934 and then recently in 2015. The 2015 Gorkha earthquake caused a lot of damage to the Kathmandu Valley World Heritage property. This map shows the collapsed and partially damaged monuments in the Hanuman Dokha Durbar Square of Kathmandu. I will be taking the collapse of the Kasta Mandap located to the southwest of the Hanuman Dokha Durbar Square as an example for my presentation. The initial assessments showed that the collapse of monuments was mainly due to the lack of maintenance and appropriate interventions, such as the use of concrete and steel elements within the traditional structures. This is the Kasta Mandap, a 3-tiered, largely timber pavilion located in the center of Kathmandu within a World Heritage Site. The painting by Oldfield, shown on the top left, from the late 19th century, shows that it was filled with shops and people who lived upstairs. In 1966, the monument was restored and the people were removed. The monument that survived a much larger earthquake in 1934 collapsed during the 2015 Gorkha earthquake. It has been possible to rebuild it with the support of the community and the craftspeople who still have the skills and knowledge of traditional construction. There was a lot that we learned from this earthquake. The drawing from the 1970s on the top left shows a section of the Kathmandu without foundations. The superstructure is mostly impacted by natural and human factors, such as the crushing of the bricks as shown in the image on the bottom left. Archaeological research carried out by a team led by the UNESCO chair at Durham University after the earthquake showed the brick foundations in mud mortar to be in perfect condition and were dated to the 7th and 9th centuries CE. To ensure the resilience of a historic structure, it needs to be used and regularly maintained. Neglect leads to deterioration and increased vulnerability. An interesting comparison can be made to the annual chariot festivals. Each year, the chariots are assembled, tested by pulling them through the streets of Kathmandu, and disassembled. This annual process ensures that the chariots are maintained and that the required skills and knowledge do not get lost. The regular maintenance, restoration, and in extreme cases, the reconstruction of historic monuments can, however, only be carried out by the traditional craftspeople with the required knowledge and skills. Here we see a damaged wooden bracket from the Kathmandu, which was reproduced and used together with the old brackets. One of these brackets was dated to the 5th century CE. Research on the historical monuments also requires modern technology. Here we have a sample of an old wooden beam being collected under the watchful eye of the head carpenter. To the right, we see the head carpenter learning to use a resistograph to test a wooden bracket. Traditionally, he would knock at it and listen whether it sounded dense or hollow. The resilience of historical monuments of tangible heritage depends on the means and the will of the community and the knowledge and skills of the traditional craftspeople. As shown in the images, the rituals are also important to drive away the evil spirits and seek the blessings of the gods. Thank you very much.